Tax day is still many months away, but while you frolic in the ocean or lay by the pool, you might want to think about ways to save money come April 15th. And joining me now from Bridge Tax Advisors of South Windsor is accountant Joel Nowakowski. And Joel, good to see you here.
Thank you, Dennis. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, I think the big question people are wondering is, are there any new tax laws at all this year?
So there's always tax laws changing through every year. This year, you want to be on the lookout for an increase in the standard deduction. Be on the lookout for whether or not you're eligible for certain energy improvement credits or deductions that may be available to you if you've done some home improvements on your home.
Things like that.
And other education, things like that. So just be on the lookout for those.
So people are sitting around having a fun summer. They're not really thinking about their taxes. But here we are. August is the 8th month of the year, right? And people are thinking, like, maybe I should be thinking about January when it comes time to file. What should people be doing at this stage of the year to examine their spending and tax situation?
So one of the things that happens that I see often is sometimes withholdings in your paycheck get adjusted for whatever reason throughout the year, and then come tax time, clients come into the office and we prepare their taxes, and then all of a sudden they're shocked by a tax bill. And I always say, if you see a change in your take-home pay, if it increases all of the sudden, take a look at that and see if there's been any changes in your withholdings. So, because if it's been dialed back and then you prepare your taxes during the tax year, you could be surprised by a fairly large tax bill.
Because most people don't like to owe. So it's not too late to make changes this year, correct?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, if you do see that movement in your take-home pay, I advise clients to reach out to their human resources department or their payroll company and make sure they just check to see what's happening with those withholdings.
I have a quick question about charities, because so many people go to charity events in Connecticut, and they like to know, what's deductible? Is the ticket to the event deductible? Is the silent auction deductible? Those paddle races when people, you know, hey, $50, $100?
Yeah, so generally, tickets to a charitable deduction, they're not deductible, but in certain instances, if you receive something in exchange that's above the fair market value of that ticket, you may be eligible for a deduction with the spread of the cost and the difference in what you're getting.
So when people look for things perhaps to get a deduction or a donation, what are some of the things that you would suggest to them that are easy? I know a lot of people will go to like the Salvation Army or Goodwill. They'll clean out their house, they'll bring some items in and get a receipt for that.
Yeah, so one of the things I tell clients is make sure it's a qualified charitable organization. And also, if you're going to make a contribution or a donation, get a receipt. Get something on letterhead from the organization with the date and the amount that you donated.
What are some of the biggest tax mistakes people make?
Oh, some of the biggest tax mistakes people make are not properly withholding enough in their paychecks.
There's a belief out there among many people that if you have more taken out now, you will owe less in the following year. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I mean, every tax situation is different. Every taxpayer's tax situation can vary depending on if there's things that change throughout the year. So I always advise clients just to check in mid-year if there's any changes and see whether or not that would have any impact come tax time.
Now, obviously, you can't plan all these things, but there are some myths out there. I'm going to ask you about buying a car at the end of the year, having a baby by the end of the year, all these things that are tax deductions. What do you think?
Those all great points. You know, you have a baby, you
can't get that done by now, though.
Yeah.
If you haven't already thought about that, then...
Yeah, so if you have a child, you may be eligible for certain child tax credits. If you buy certain types of vehicles, you may be eligible for certain credits as well. So again, just keep track of everything. If there's any big changes or significant changes in your life throughout the year, advise reaching out to your tax advisor and letting them know what's happening, and then maybe they can provide you with some solid advice going forward.
How has the tax preparing business changed in recent years? So many people do it digitally now. It's just a lot of, you just punch it all in. What's the biggest change you've noticed?
So there is a lot of change in the way of software and the ability to prepare your own taxes, but at the end of the day, the tax law is always changing, and there's credits and deductions out there, and things are always moving. So in some instances, it's recommended that people go with a provider, and it may fit their budget and profile to prepare their taxes themselves. It's a simple tax return. But there may be instances where their tax situation's complex, some things happen, maybe some life changes have happened throughout the year. So in those instances, it's a good idea to reach out to a professional to get some advice.
Yeah, you know, and it seems too that so many people are saying that their tax returns now come back a little bit sooner than they used to. Is that correct? Because it's so, you know, advanced, the whole system?
Yeah, so technology is great, and in certain instances, you can get your tax return filed, and I've heard of clients getting their refunds back really quickly because they're able to process quickly. But in some instances, I've seen it take a long time too. So it's really hard to pin down whether or not it's moving fast or moving slow. There's a lot of variables.
And this is Sunday, and tax-free week in Connecticut starts, so you can buy certain things without a tax. What do you think of that?
I think it's great. I think it's great. Get out there, make your purchases, and if you kind of save money on taxes, that's a good thing.
So that's your job, is to help people, help your clients save money on taxes, which is great. All right. Joel Nowakowski from Bridge Tax Advisors in South Windsor. We appreciate your insight today.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it.
Take care. We're back with a final word and a short comedy I wrote after the break.